She said the words with a smile, as if tearing a family apart was something simple. Choose me or her. My son closed his eyes and took one slow breath. Everything changed in that moment. His answer wasn't loud, but it was final. I was standing at the sink when it happened. My hands were in warm, soapy water. I was rinsing the last dinner plate. The TV was low in the living room. The lights in the kitchen were soft. It was one of those quiet evenings that older women hold on to. Then I heard her heels. Sharp taps on the tile, fast, irritated. I didn't turn around. I could feel her mood before she even spoke. My son was leaning against the counter near the fridge. I had seen him there 1,000 times, as a boy with a glass of milk, as a teenager rushing out the door, now as a tired man with heavy eyes. They thought I couldn't hear well. They always thought that. They forgot that a mother's ears never fully grow old. "I'm tired of this," she said. Her voice was low at first, full of anger wrapped in sugar. "I am tired of your mother being in everything." My hands stopped moving. The water kept running. I stared at the sink and tried to pretend I didn't hear. I didn't want to be the cause of another fight. My son said something. His voice was soft, too soft. I couldn't hear the words, but I heard the defeat. She sighed, a long, dramatic sigh. Then her tone hardened. "I'm serious, Daniel. I can't live like this. It's me or her." Then she said it again, clear, sharp. "Choose me or your mother." She said it like she was asking him to choose a dessert. Light, casual, like it was nothing. Something inside me went very still. I didn't drop the plate. I didn't cry out. I just froze. I never wanted my son to be in that place. No child should be asked to choose like that. No mother should hear it happen. I kept my back to them. I stared at the window above the sink. The glass was fogged from the hot water. I could see my own faint reflection, a tired woman, gray at the temples, lines around her mouth, eyes that had seen too much. My son didn't answer right away. There was a deep silence, heavy, awkward, painful. I could hear his breathing, slow, uneven. He was thinking. That was the part that hurt the most. He was thinking. A mother can live through many things, but knowing her child is weighing her on a scale, that is a special kind of pain. I wanted to walk out of the room. I wanted to disappear before I heard his choice, but my feet felt rooted to the ground. My daughter-in-law didn't lower her voice. She didn't try to hide. Maybe she didn't care if I heard. Maybe she wanted me to. "You can't keep living with her here," she said. "I need a husband, not a little boy tied to his mom." Little boy. I almost laughed. I had raised that little boy almost alone, through sickness, job loss, and years when we counted every dollar. My son finally spoke. "I just need some time," he said. His voice shook a bit. "That's not an answer," she snapped. "I need one now." My heart clenched. I wanted to tell him, choose her, it's okay. I wanted to take the weight off his shoulders. That's what mothers do. We carry more so they can carry less. But he didn't know I was there, listening. So I stayed quiet. I rinsed the same spoon again. My hands moved. My mind didn't. Then I felt his eyes on my back. He knew I had heard. He knew I was there. The silence changed. It became thick with shame. I turned off the faucet. The sound of the running water stopped. The whole kitchen felt too loud. I put the plate on the rack, took a deep breath, and finally turned around. My son looked at me with guilt all over his face. My daughter-in-law looked annoyed that the audience had turned around. I gave them both a small, tired smile. "I think I'll go lie down," I said. My voice was steady. My chest wasn't. "Mom, wait," my son said. His eyes were shiny. "I didn't mean for you to—" I shook my head gently. "It's all right," I said. "It's late. You two should talk." His wife crossed her arms. She said nothing, but the message was clear on her face. Choose. I walked past them slowly. As I passed my son, I put my hand on his arm, just for a second, the way I used to do when he was scared as a boy. "It's okay," I whispered, even though it wasn't. I went to my room and closed the door softly. The minute the lock clicked, my shoulders dropped. The mask fell away. My eyes stung. I sat on the edge of my bed and stared at my hands. These hands had held him as a baby, had packed his school lunches, had written checks for bills he never knew about, had wiped tears from his cheeks. Now those same hands felt empty. I lay back on the bed and stared at the ceiling. The paint was starting to crack near the light. I had been meaning to fix it, but some part of me had started to wonder if this was still my home to fix. A thought slipped into my mind quietly. Maybe I should leave. Maybe that would make everything easier. Maybe I really was in the way. The thought hurt, but it also felt like relief, like dropping a heavy bag you've been carrying too long. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. For a moment, I hoped it was my son. It wasn't. Just a message from a church friend. I didn't reply. I didn't have the words yet.
That night, I didn't sleep much. I listened to the sounds of the house, their muffled voices, a door closing, water running, then silence. No one knocked on my door. I watched the shadows move across my ceiling and thought about every year I had spent building this family, every meal, every sacrifice, every prayer. And now, one sentence had cut through all of it. Choose me or your mother. She thought she held all the power. She thought the choice would be simple. None of us knew yet. Her question would change everything, but not the way she imagined and not the way I feared. I woke up before the sun the next morning. It felt like I hadn't really slept at all. My eyes burned, my head felt heavy, but my mind was strangely clear. The house was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that feels like something has been broken and everyone is afraid to touch the pieces. I sat up slowly and looked around my room. The same room I had slept in for years. My small dresser, my old chair in the corner, the blanket my own mother had given me. It all looked the same, but it didn't feel like mine anymore. Her words kept replaying in my head. Choose me or your mother. I knew I shouldn't have heard it, but I did. And once you hear something like that, you can't unhear it. I stood up and opened my closet. My clothes hung there in neat rows. Simple dresses, old coats, cozy cardigans I wore in winter. Nothing fancy, nothing new. Just the quiet collection of a long life. I pulled out a small suitcase from the bottom. It was old, too. It had traveled many miles with me. Funerals, weddings, hospital visits. Now it was back on the floor waiting. My hands shook a little as I opened it. I folded a few dresses, a pair of pants, a nightgown, some underwear, 2 pairs of shoes. I told myself I was just getting ready, just in case. But deep down, I knew what I was doing. A mother's heart can break in many ways. Sometimes it happens all at once. Sometimes it happens slowly, piece by piece. Last night, another piece had fallen off. I sat on the edge of the bed again and stared at the suitcase. Leaving felt wrong. Staying felt worse. I thought of my son as a little boy, how he used to run into my arms after school, how he used to tell me I was the best mom in the world. Now he couldn't say a single word in that kitchen. Tears welled up in my eyes. I wiped them away quickly. Crying didn't fix anything, but sometimes it helped you breathe. A soft knock sounded on my door. Gentle, hesitant. I knew that knock. "Mom?" My son's voice came through. "It's me." I swallowed. My heart picked up speed. "Come in," I said quietly. He opened the door slowly and stepped inside. He looked older than his age that morning. Tired eyes, heavy shoulders, guilt all over his face. His gaze fell on the suitcase. He froze. "Mom, what are you doing?" I tried to smile, but it didn't reach my eyes. "Just being practical," I said. "Sometimes life pushes you in a direction. I'm just getting ready." He walked closer, shaking his head. No, Mom, you're not going anywhere." I looked up at him. "Last night, you heard what she said. So did I. She wants you to pick. That's not a life I want for you, or for me." He sat down beside me on the bed. The mattress dipped under his weight, the way it did when he was small. But he wasn't small anymore. He was a grown man who didn't know how to stand between 2 fires. "Mom, I'm so sorry," he whispered. His voice broke. She shouldn't have said that. I should have spoken up. I froze. I didn't know what to say. I looked at his hands, the same hands that once reached for mine across busy streets. Those hands now twisted together, full of shame. "You didn't have to say anything," I said softly. "Your silence said enough." He winced like I had hit him. I know, and it's killing me. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want to hurt her. I've been trying to keep the peace." I nodded slowly. "That's the problem, baby. Peace built on silence isn't really peace. It's just quiet suffering." He wiped his face with his palm. "Mom, please, don't pack, don't leave. This is your home." I let out a short, sad laugh. "Is it? Because it hasn't felt like mine in a long time." We sat in silence for a moment. Then he looked at me with a strange softness. "There's something I never told her," he said. "I should have, but I didn't, and maybe that's my fault." I frowned. "What do you mean?" He took a deep breath. "When Dad was in the hospital, before he died, he asked me for something. I was 16. I thought I understood life. I didn't, but I understood him that day." My throat tightened. I hadn't known they spoke alone that last time. "What did he say?" I asked. "He took my hand," my son said quietly. His voice was very weak. He told me, "Your mother is stronger than she looks, but don't ever leave her to carry everything alone. No matter who comes into your life, never let anyone make you choose between them and her. If they do, they don't truly love you." My eyes filled with tears. I had to look away. I had never known my husband said that. "And I promised him," my son continued, voice cracking. "I promised I would never let anyone turn me against you. I promised I would never let anyone disrespect you in your own home. And now look at what's happened." He covered his face with his hands. I broke my promise. To him, to you, to myself. I reached out and gently moved his hands away. I cupped his cheek like I used to when he was young. "You didn't break it completely," I said. "You're here now." He shook his head. "It took too long." "But you're here," I repeated, "and you're seeing things clearly. That matters." Just then, the door opened without a knock. His wife walked in. Her expression was tight. Her arms were crossed. "So this is what we're doing now?" she said. "Closing doors, having secret meetings, packing suitcases to make me look like the villain?" I turned to her calmly. "This isn't a show," I said. "I was packing because I thought maybe everyone would be happier if I left." My son shot to his feet. "No," he said quickly. His voice was stronger now. "She shouldn't have to leave. This is her home." His wife scoffed. "She lives with us, Daniel. This is our home now. We're starting a life together. How are we supposed to do that if she's always here, always involved, always in your head?" "In his head?" I asked quietly. Or in his heart, I thought. She looked at me, eyes blazing. "I'm tired of feeling like the outsider in my own house, like I'm competing with his mother. It's not normal. He needs to make a choice." My son turned slowly toward her. His posture changed. He stood taller, straighter. "No," he said. His voice was calm, but very firm. "I don't." She blinked. "What do you mean, no?" "I mean," he said, "you don't ask a man to choose between his wife and his mother. Not like that. Not with those words. Not out of anger. And not after everything she's done for us." She opened her mouth to speak, but for once, no words came out. He continued, "You think you're competing with her. You're not. She's my mother. You're my wife. Those are not the same roles. But I will not stay with anyone who believes they get to erase the woman who raised me." The room went very quiet. My son took a deep breath. "Tonight," he said, "I'm not choosing between you two. I'm choosing what kind of man I want to be." He looked at me, then at her, and in that moment I realized something. The real choice was never me or her. The real choice was between love that controls and love that understands. What he said next would decide everything. The room was so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat. My son stood between us, not angry, just tired. Tired of fighting. Tired of choosing sides.
tired of pretending everything was fine. His wife stared at him like she didn't recognize the man in front of her. She wasn't used to his calm voice.
She was used to winning every argument by talking louder, faster, sharper. Not today. He took a slow breath. "I love you," he told her, "but I won't throw my mother away to prove it." She blinked fast, shocked. "Daniel, that's not what I asked." "Yes," he said gently, "it is. You asked me to choose, and I won't. I'm not that kind of man." She opened her mouth, closed it, then opened it again. No words came out. This time she was the one speechless. I sat very still on the bed, hands folded in my lap. My heart ached for him, for her, for all of us. But at the same time, something warm began to fill the empty space inside me. Not pride, not victory, just a soft, quiet relief. My son turned to me next. "Mom," he whispered, "you don't pack, you don't leave, you don't disappear. Not because she asked, not because I hesitated. You stay because this is your home, your room, your place, and no one gets to erase that." I felt my throat tighten. Simple words, soft tone. But to me, it felt like someone had stitched together a wound I thought would stay open forever. His wife finally found her voice. "So what now? You're choosing her?" My son shook his head. "No, I'm choosing the right thing. I'm choosing to fix this instead of breaking it more. I'm choosing to stop pretending everything is fine when it isn't." She crossed her arms. "And what does that mean, Daniel?" "It means," he said slowly, "that something has to change, and that something isn't my mother. It's us." She frowned. "Us?" "Yes," he said. "I should have told you years ago what she has done for me. For us. How many nights she stayed awake when I was sick. How many times she saved me when I couldn't save myself. You only see her as competition because you don't know what she carried." His wife swallowed hard. Her eyes dropped to the floor. Her voice came out softer. "But I just wanted to have a home with you. Our own space. Our own life." "And we can," he said gently, "but not by pushing her out, not by making me choose between the two women I love. That's not how families work." She sat down slowly, as if her legs stopped supporting her. For the first time since she entered my life, she looked young, not cruel, not demanding, just lost. My son continued, "Yesterday you said this house felt like it wasn't yours, but it became yours the day you walked into it with me. Mom never pushed you out. You pushed yourself out by seeing her as a threat." Silence settled again, a different kind this time, a softer one, a thinking silence. My daughter-in-law's voice trembled. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I just felt like I was always being compared." "That she didn't want me here." I spoke for the first time. My voice was calm, honest. "I never compared you. I never tried to take him away from you. He's your husband. He was my child first, yes, but he is yours now. You never had to fight me. I wasn't your enemy." Her eyes lifted to mine. There was no anger anymore, just guilt, regret, fear. "Then why did I always feel like I was losing?" she asked quietly. "Because," I said softly, "love doesn't compete. It grows. It shares. It makes room. The person next to you is not always trying to take something from you." A tear rolled down her cheek, the first honest one I had ever seen from her. She whispered, "I'm sorry." She didn't say it angrily. She didn't say it through clenched teeth. She said it like she meant it, like a woman who finally saw the damage she had done. My son placed his hand on her back. His voice softened. "We can fix this, but not if we keep hurting each other." She nodded slowly. "I don't want to break this family," she whispered. "I acted out of fear, not hate. I'm sorry for asking that question. It wasn't fair." I took a slow breath. Her apology didn't erase the hurt, but it helped heal it. My son looked at me again. "Mom, stay. Not because you have nowhere else, but because this is your home too." And for the first time, I truly believed him. Later that night, I unpacked my suitcase. I folded my clothes back into the closet. I placed my shoes back in their place. I smoothed my blanket over the bed. Everything looked ordinary again, but nothing felt the same. Something had shifted. Something had settled. Something had softened. I walked into the kitchen to make tea. My son's wife stood there quietly. She didn't roll her eyes. She didn't sigh.
She simply said, "Would you like some help?" It wasn't much, but it was a beginning. As the water warmed on the stove, I closed my eyes and felt a small peace rising in me. In the end, my son didn't choose between us. He chose the kind of man he wanted to be. And that choice saved all three of us.